Hello everyone, Crystal Fisher here, and welcome to a new Spyro video. I'm here in my room. I know, a bit of a rare spot for me. I thought I'd set the camera up here in the wardrobe and talk about the 25th anniversary of Spyro the Dragon, particularly Spyro 1. But Activision, Toys for Bob, you name it, have decided to do a celebration of the Spyro series, right? And I imagine, particularly tying it into Reignited, of course, that being their game. There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about, or what I want to talk about is what I think that we're going to get in this 25th anniversary month, and I guess also what I hope we get. So, first things first, the press release. There was a press release that came out. Picture will be here. There we go. There's the press release. That was fantastic. Touting the series, giving the history, all that kind of stuff. All kind of basic stuff that we all know. I think the more interesting thing though was the reveal that, and we don't know when this ticked over. Maybe it was very recent. Maybe it was a while ago. The reveal that Spyro Reignited Trilogy had sold 10 million copies. Now, I think that's significant for quite a few reasons because, like I said on Twitter, I'm sort of being a little bit coy about it. It's almost as if this is a popular series. I know, it sounds crazy that after one game that remastered games from the late 90s, early 2000s, it's crazy how it would sell 10 million copies. And what was sort of crazy to me is that, at least at some point in time, there's probably been executive discussions where it's like, gee, is it popular enough? Is it really, affecting our bottom line, enough? Are we making enough money from it? And of course, when you hear about, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 doing one of the best sales in the history of Tony Hawk's, and then 3+4 allegedly getting scrapped, it's like, okay, what do they actually have to do? What is their metric of success? So I think that, touting 10 million clearly means that internally that must be quite a milestone, and it must be something that is fairly significant for this fan base. So I think genuinely that's a great thing. I think that it's an excuse to, when you have articles go out, I think it was Nintendo Life put out an article, you basically get to tout these figures. It's basically a free Activision kind of marketing and financial sort of brag, really. But it's also important because it recognizes that the series itself is massively popular. So that was very, very cool. I think that was, great that it's hit 10 million. Reignited, still doing the LP. There's parts of Reignited that I absolutely love. There's parts that I don't love as much, but I've always said that if there was to be a Spyro 4, I feel like they'd take the foundational stuff of Reignited that was good and improve it. I'll talk about Spyro 4 and a theoretical Spyro 4 later on, but point is, great stuff, love it, absolutely love it. I think that great that it's hit 10 million. And then they revealed, or they announced that there would be a Spyro Reignited soundtrack going up onto streaming platforms like Spotify. I was listening to it on YouTube Music, and this is for Reignited, and this was a 45-track album, which is, to me, very strange because it's like, why wouldn't they just include every track? It's like they included just the best ones, but I mean, for example, like, Cloud Spy is not there, stuff like that. So very, very strange omissions. I would just release the whole thing, but maybe they're doing that and they're going to do a physical release later. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, they do that kind of thing. Sometimes like games will release these soundtracks and not have absolutely everything. Of course, it goes without saying that in the original game, the original Spyro 1, there's like a bunch of bonus tracks to play if you stay in the level long enough, and how you would unlock those different tracks would be, people would be like, okay, if you stay here for like 10 minutes, you get this track and whatever. But point is, new soundtrack or an existing soundtrack now of having an official release, I think that's really good. Again, another way for them to monetize, another way for them to get listens and stuff like that. Fantastic. What else do I think that we're going to get with this 25 years? I think we're going to get Crash Team Rumble, Spyro, Allura, and Ripto. And that's not an educated guess, really. That's pretty much knowing it from the data leak that happened. The data leak that leaked maybe a month or so ago, maybe even over a month ago. Basically, those three characters were mined in the files for like the next battle pass. I've been playing a bit of Crash Team Rumble, and I haven't done a video out of it because I just haven't set up all my recording software and stuff like that. Genuinely like the game, but I think my problem with Rumble is that it's like not enough to keep me playing. I'm a big story-based guy, I'm a big single-player kind of guy, so the fact that there's like nothing that you can just play like offline mainly, I think is something, I do like playing online, but I think I prefer that offline component. I do want to play with some friends and stuff like that, and yeah, so it's definitely something I will continue to do. I'm looking forward to the next stuff, very much looking forward to the Spire involvement, but my hope is that this isn't it, right? So I guess from now, from going from what I expect from the 25th anniversary, that's the video title, what I hope we get is that we get some Spyro stuff with Rumble. Everyone thinks, okay, cool, that's what we're gonna get, like that's the announcement. And then towards the end of the month, I think there'd be no better time to announce a Spyro game. Now, I don't see it being extremely likely, but I think that, to me, you've got this, okay, not only that, you've also got Community Day organized by like Canadian Guy and a few other guys, so that's really cool. So, you know, it's Community Day on Twitter is like basically we're trying to make Spyro a trend. It's, you know, you share all your stuff, share your favorite memories, share like rare stuff. I've got like Spyro books over there that, you know, you can take screenshots of and all that kind of stuff. I've done stuff before. I've done like my favorite double jumps in Spyro 2. Anyway, a great little thing. I think that I think we will actually get probably some Spyro community like Toys for Bob involvement in that, at least the acknowledgement. But I think that what would be great is this is the perfect time to announce something or even tease something. Now, I think when Crash's 25th anniversary, they mentioned something about like future games, like they said something about that, which it kind of gave away that, okay, there was stuff they were working on something. And I think at the time, everyone was very concerned about Wumpa League not actually being a thing anymore. I think it was like, oh, I think someone had said, an insider had said, oh yeah, it's like, it's done, right? And then of course it ended up being announced the next year and that was great. But I think with Spyro, it's like, I don't think you explicitly need to have this explicit announcement, but a teaser that they could be working on something, a screenshot, something that could do something to excite or reignite people's interest, I think would be great. They did this for a year for Ape Escape, right? Ape Escape had this like 20th anniversary or something like that, where I think it was 20, and they did this thing where it just like, they would share stuff like once every couple of weeks and stuff like that. And at the end, there'd be like this teaser where it's like, oh, you know, what's going to continue with the monkey or something like that. And then it turns out like they were thinking of doing stuff and then nothing happened. So please, let's not hope to be that. But I think that if they did give fans an inkling that maybe something's coming, they could do the most vague teasers and we'd go crazy. Look, I don't want just a vague teaser. I want something more, you know, implicit. I want something more, you know, more of an actual announcement. But I think that, look, we'll take what we can get. I think that if they just use this 25th, you know, anniversary as just a way of promoting Team Rumble, that's just not the play. That's just not the play. The other thing to consider is all the Activision stuff going on right now with the CMA and like, you know, getting bought out and acquired by, who is it? Microsoft. I think that's a really interesting wrinkle in it. I think it's going to happen. Basically, there might be some concessions and changes and stuff like that. I think that I've made this clear in some of my other videos. I've talked about it, you know, on LP parts and stuff like that. I think that Activision being owned by Microsoft for the creative teams is a good thing. I think that it takes away a little bit of that stress stock market kind of BS where it's like they have to worry so much. I mean, Microsoft have a decent track record with working with other devs and stuff like that and working with their devs on what they want to do. So I think that I am looking forward to, I hope that does happen. While I'm not all for like a monopoly and all that kind of thing, sometimes there are necessary evils, quote unquote, maybe not evil, but where it's like, okay, you can't stop it. Let's try and see the good for it. So anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a little update. I'll be back with some more LPs and some stuff coming soon. Thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye and good night. Bang.